Good day, Ma'am Faith. Welcome to our research proposal presentation. And our the title of our research is the effects of COVID-19 pandemic to the academic performances of the students. So here is the chapter one, which is the introduction. So as we can observe, we are really challenged by the pandemic. No? Not just especially in the fields of education, we cannot hide that. In fact, this what we have right now, the online classes, is one of its effects. And there are also and uh, private and public sectors and organizations, or I mean institutions, were also being affected and closed. So we are really wanted to find out the on how students was be able to find ways and solution to overcome it. And the crisis crystallizes the dilemma policymakers are facing between closing schools, reducing contact and saving lives, and keeping them open and allowing workers to work and maintaining the economy. In this research, we have come up on how the students could survive this pandemic that we are facing, or I mean, and how they were able to manage it, since this is the first time that we have an experience. So, government could not also stop it. It's because we need to fulfill the economy's or to still provide for the economy's improvement. And also, the following research questions are to reach these goals. So, first is how does it affect the academic performances of the students? Second is what are the advantages and disadvantages of this pandemic on especially on the academic performances of the students? And lastly is there any significant difference in their level of satisfaction with the online teaching across students' capabilities? So, the objective of this study is to determine the general experience of the students amidst the pandemic, and if there is still progress in terms of learning. The significance of this study is to know the situation of the students and how they're being affected and how we are going to resolve it. So 1.4, the scope and the limitation of the study. So this study focuses on the academic performances of the senior high school student of Central Mindanao University, and the theoretical framework according to Johannesburg on March 18, in South Africa. Since its outbreak in last December 2019, COVID-19 has wreaked havoc across the world, and likely any critical sector, education has been hit hard. Students, schools, colleges, and universities have been deeply impacted. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, over 800 million learners from around the world have been affected. 1 in 5 learners cannot attend school. Um, 1 in 4 students cannot attend higher educational classes, and over 102 countries have ordered nationwide schools closure, while 11 have implemented localized school closure. As what is being illustrated, you can see the source of or the reason on why we are having online classes, and also the effects to the parents, who's the primary source of the students, and the impact of this pandemic to the academic performances of the students. So it is very visible there, the the effects, the cycle of effects.
Definition of term. The following significant term is operational defined in this study. These are 13 significant terms. This is academic achievement, academic performance, academic subject, pandemic, family, teachers, student, general average, first efforts, respondents, situation, study habit, and the last, government. Review of literature. Over 200,000 cases of coronavirus reported in 160 countries, which resulting more than 8,000 deaths with severe outbreak. Some governments were making around increasing the education budget. These crises are great require attentions like all government, stakeholders and communities. Each day, millions of children do not go to school due to the ongoing humanitarian crisis, no matter where they live and rights to education. All around the world is repeating its willingness to work its collaborations with governments to ensure the right education throughout challenge time. Governments analyze in society's resources and expenses the impact of COVID-19 on education require. These processes include developing long-term strategies to address the needs of educational emergencies. Review of related study. In 2020, COVID-19 caused disruptions to our everyday life. One of the most controversial spread, the meanest educational researchers in Hug et al. 2020. Wiseman estimated a negative effect on students' achievement. Hick and Lifebreath estimated that systematic achievement gaps would increasing to 30%. Canford et al. 2020, it less known in COVID-19 related school research students' achievement. These are the use of school counseling in connections to COVID-19. There are 8 connections on COVID-19. This is Adjov et al. 2020, Going et al. 2020, Metally et al. 2020, Six et al. 2020, Altre et al. 2021, Gederman et al. 2021, and Asolvian et al. 2021. And the effect of the school's discharge on motivation is Socialats et al. 2020 and Smith et al. 2021. A year into the pandemic, it is a good time for starting in actual evidence and evidence et al. 2020 Canfield et al. 2021. Waisto et al. Conference Cadberger 2021. And this is a consequence for future national educational policies.
Good morning, everyone. I am Marin Sasil. The methodology of our research proposal. This chapter presents the research design, research local, population and sample, sampling procedure, and statistic treatment. So the research design, this studies employs a descriptive correlational research method. The descriptive method make use of descriptive statistic was data described that the student affected either through numerical calculation or graph or table. On the other hand, correlation method makes use of inferential statistic which test relationship variables, make inferences and predictions about the population based on a sample of the data taken from the population in the question. So the research locale, this study was conducted at Central Mindanao University, located at Nuswan, Maramag, Bukidnon. Central Mindanao University is a state university located in the heart of Mindanao Island, known as the academic paradise of the South. The research participant of this research is the senior high school student of Central Mindanao University. They participate in answering the question of our research. Research instrument. In this study, we have used Google Form in order to get their answers. Google Form is really help us make our research more applicable since it is one click away. It makes also our research easier and clearer. Sampling procedure. We make our research at Central Mindanao University. Students are the target. We use the probability sampling. Data collection analysis. This study will rely on the student. We didn't need to evaluate the student as long as it is enrolled. We asked questions related to the students and their situations and how does pandemic affect them. Since this has been done online, we used Google Form in order to have their answer. Based from our survey, most of the grades of the students were being affected as well as the parents. Some of the students had an anxiety. They also agreed that the learning process is very low. That's all. Thank you.